Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to those of you who are here in our sanctuary and those of you who are watching us from home. I would like to welcome you, wish you Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Shir Chadash.
We continue with the words of Lechadodi as we welcome the Sabbath bride. Lechadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Adori, Katala, Enesha.
Shabbat nekabela.
For the final verse of Lechadodi, we rise, if you're able, and we face the entrance to our sanctuary, the entrance to your home or the room you're in. And just take a moment and imagine Shabbat as a bride coming to greet each one of us.
Boi veshalom materet bala gam besimcha uvetzola toch emunei am segula boi chala
Ein allein Lechadodi, ein allein Lirakala, ein allein Bnei Shabbat mekabela, Lechadodi Lirakala, Bnei Shabbat mekabela, Lechadodi Lirakala, Bnei Shabbat.
Please be seated. And this is the moment of gratitude in our service. Before we continue with the prayer, the psalm of Shabbat, the psalm of thanksgiving, I would like to ask if any of you here in our sanctuary first wants to share with us something good that happened to you. Yes, Tina, please. If you can just do it out loud. This is really a beautiful book that Audrey gave you, and I don't know, Audrey, how you got a copy. Audrey is the author of the book, and I learned a lot. I didn't know that the Turo synagogue was named after a really special man by the name of Judah Tur. So thank you, and thank you. And I am going to be rude and ask you to repeat it, because I want to repeat the... Wow, you got your white... Wow, that's really impressive. Know that people who know you are surprised, but it's really nice to hear that. Wow, that's wonderful. Joeda, yes, please. Mazel tov for granddaughter who got engaged. Yeah, wonderful things and less wonderful things at the same time. That's life. Did anyone share from the house?
So Morgan is grateful for family and friends. Lauren is grateful for a smooth end to the work week. Carol is grateful for normal lab results. That is very good. Yay for remission. Sharon is grateful for her good health in these hard times. The Ergis family is grateful to be healthy and to be able to attend Asher's bar mitzvah tomorrow. And Fern is grateful for her family's good health. So for all these things, we say Tov lehodot ladonai. It's good to give thanks to God. Tov lehodot ladonai. welcome the angels of Shabbat with the words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem,
Malachei Asharim, Malachei
Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Vachuni Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchan Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And Asher, I invite you to watch yourself leading all of us in the blessings of the candles. Are you nervous? No, you shouldn't be. But it's always a weird feeling to see yourself on the screen or to hear your voice. Remember the old answering machine when...
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you.
Amen.
It was beautiful. And Madison, thank you too. And those of you who are here and are able to rise for the call to worship, Baruch Hu, please do it. Those of you at home who wants to do it, you're welcome as well.
Continue reading together. Holy is the twilight, the realm of in-between.
And
so our sages taught. Pray in the moments when light and darkness touch. We are all twilight people, beyond categories and labels. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, and widen our vision. Let it illumine the way to God, who transcends all boundaries and definitions. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on the twilight. Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamarif Aravi.
Amen. And I would like to invite you now to take a moment as we try to get a little bit lighter, as we let go of the weight of the past week. You may want to close your eyes and take a deep breath in very slowly and breathe out. Breathe in again and out. Let's breathe in the blessing, the warmth of Shabbat. And breathe out everything we need to breathe out. Let's have our weekly meeting with God. As we tell God anything that is on our heart, ask God questions, express our gratitude, share our fears, protest, and ask God to send a special blessing for us, for our families, our communities, our country, the state of Israel, the world. And let's pause and listen to God's reply. Let's take another deep breath in and out. And together let's say the prayer of Shema Israel. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, and we slowly open our eyes. Et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meotecha.
Let's read together in English. Let there be
love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al
Yerushalayim. A song for the Sabbath day.
She'amru bnei Israel et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We continue now with a Torah service. We've not done it for a while, and it is going to be somewhat modified because during the COVID we cannot do some things that we normally do, like walking with the Torah around and everyone kisses. Not exactly the safest things to do, but still we can read from the Torah, we can take it out. And we do it partly to help those of you who are celebrating your birthdays during the month of November to have an Aliyah. I know at least 2 people in this sanctuary and 1 on the Bima, but that will be a little bit later. So those of you who are here, as a sign of respect to the Torah, we rise when we open the Ark.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadol Adonai iti unerumema shemo yachdav. Shlosha devarim haolam Shlosha devarim haolam.
So in a short time, I'm going to read from the Torah, the beginning of our weekly portion, Toldot. What a passage that I'm going to read doesn't seem to be interesting unless we understand the full context and we are able to compare this little scene to one that we had already read last week and one that we will be reading next week. So this passage tells us about our middle family of our matriarchs and patriarchs, about Isaac and his wife Rebekah. And in the beginning of the portion, we read that Isaac prayed on behalf of his wife Rebekah, because Rebekah was barren, she couldn't have children, and he prayed to God. Doesn't seem so unusual, but it is. Because to fully understand what happened here, we have to look at Isaac's father as well as Isaac's son. Isaac's father was Abraham, and his wife was Sarah. The only thing the Torah tells us about Sarah when we first meet her is that she was barren again. She was not able to have children. In fact, 3 out of our 4 mothers had a problem to get pregnant and to have children. And unfortunately, at that time, we're talking about some 4,000 years ago, the value of a woman was determined by how many children, or to be even more accurate, how many sons she can have. So from the very beginning, you know, Sarah cannot have children. She and Abraham lived together for quite a long time. When she saw that he wanted the child, she told him, "No, obviously I cannot get pregnant, so here's my proposal. Why don't you have a child with my maid, Hagar? And Abraham did it and had the son Ishmael, and it didn't work out very well for many good reasons. Now, when we read it, and many of the commentators look at it like a huge act of generosity by Sarah, I don't really look at it like that anymore. I think that what happened there is akin to a husband who keeps whining that he wants to buy a really expensive car and he doesn't have the money. So one day, his wife comes to him and says, "You know, why don't I have a second job? Why don't I, after I am done with my first job, go and clean other people's homes so you'll have enough money to buy your expensive toy?" The husband who would say, "Oh, sure, yes, great idea, when can you start?" does not choose the right answer. The right answer is, "Thank you, I really appreciate it, but I don't need a car. I care about you. You work too hard as it is." I'm almost certain that that was Sarah expected to hear when she said, "Have a child with my maid." Abraham had to tell her, "You know, it's really generous of you, but we're together. Having a child from another woman, that's not what I want. We've been together for so long. We are a unit, we're a family. If we're not having this child together, you know, we'll just wait. God said we would have a child one day, and let's just trust that God will provide us with a child." If you think that my reading is a little bit too extreme, let me describe another thing that happened last week that we rarely pay attention to. God sent some messengers to Abraham and Sarah to tell them that a year from that moment, they will have a son. We remember that Sarah was laughing because she said, "I'm way past childbearing age. There's no way I can be pregnant." And God told her, "Hey, you shouldn't have laughed because I'm God. I can do whatever I want." But what we normally don't pay attention to is another part of this story that tells us that Abraham laughed as well. Why did he laugh? Because he told God, said, "God, I don't need another son. I already have Ishmael." Abraham never really understood his wife's desire to have a son. He was so focused on himself, of having an heir, that he completely ignored his wife. So once he had a son from a different woman, he was happy. And when God said, "You'll get another one with Sarah," don't bother God, I'm set. But God was not happy, and God told him, "Abraham, you missed something really important. When I established a covenant, it was not with you alone, it was with you and Sarah. And the only one who can continue the covenant is a son of both of you." So that was Abraham's reaction when he knew that his wife really wanted to have a child. Now, to make it even worse, there is an episode in which Abraham prays, begs God to help other people, the Philistines, to have children. So he knew how to do it when he needed, but he didn't think that he should do it for his wife. Let's keep the middle generation of Isaac and Rebekah for a moment and go to the third generation, Jacob and Rachel. Rachel really wanted a child, right? I said that 3 out of the 4 mothers had difficulties to have children. And she was so desperate that she went to Jacob, whom she knew had a good relationship with God, and said, if I don't have children, I prefer to die. What was Jacob's answer to her? Do I look like God to you? What do you want from me? And that's quite shocking, because Rachel was Jacob's beloved favorite wife. He had 4, but he really loved Rachel. If you remember the story, when he wanted to marry her, her father told him, you have to work for 7 years in order to be able to marry her. He worked for 7 years, and then her father tricked him, and he had to work an additional 7 years, altogether 14 years for Rachel. He really loved her, but he was not able to show empathy. Instead of empathy, he became defensive. What do you want from me? Right? It's like somebody tells you, I don't feel well, and you say, do I look like a doctor to you? Call the doctor. What do you want from me? That's not the kind of reaction we're expecting somebody who is supposed to care for us. How come Jacob, instead of being empathetic, became so defensive? I don't really know, but I do know that many of us can easily fall into this trap. Because when people sometimes tell us something, all they want is for us to show empathy, but we can take it like criticism. We can take it as though they want something from us that we cannot provide. We can think that they try to make us feel guilty. For example, in that story, maybe when Rachel told Jacob, if I don't have children, I prefer to die, what he heard was, oh, you, Jacob, you have many children now from your other 3 wives. You don't really need me anymore, or something along these lines. So instead of really feel her agony, see how much she suffers, be there with her, he became defensive and attacked her. So that was the reaction of our third father when his wife was in need of support. And against this backdrop, I think the passage from our Torah portion becomes so special. Because the Torah portion begins by telling us that Isaac prayed for his wife Rebekah. But the Hebrew there is even more striking than the English, because the English translation almost everywhere says that Isaac prayed on behalf of his wife Rebekah, which is very nice to do. Obviously, his father and his son refused to do that. But in Hebrew, it's even nicer, because the word that is translated as on behalf of is lenochach. Lenochach means in front of, opposite of. And the image that I had when I read it this week was of a couple who is getting married and facing the rabbi, looking at each other, holding hands. And that's what they probably did. Rebekah did not have to say a word to Isaac. He knew. He felt what she felt. So he held her hands and they prayed to God. So our three fathers did some amazing things. We're here because of them or thanks to them. But they were far from being perfect. From each one we learned different things. But I believe that those of us who want to have good relationships with anyone, our spouses, our children, our parents, our friends, our colleagues, our teacher should be Isaac. Isaac is the only one among our patriarchs about whom we read he loved his wife. And Isaac was the only one who had only one wife. Even though he did not have children for a long time, he didn't have one from a maid. He didn't take other wives. He remembered how much he loved her. They were a team. They were together. Her pain is his pain. Her success is his success. So now I would like to invite those of you who celebrate your birthdays during November to either here, if you're here, stand up. In your home, you can stand up too, and we will say the blessings, and then I will chant from the Torah.
It's me. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMavorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
No Torah. Camera. Oh well. ואלה תולדות יצחק בן אברהם, אברהם הוליד את יצחק. ויהי יצחק בן 40 שנה, בקחתו את רבקה. בת בתואל הארמי היא מפדן ארם אחות. לבן הארמי היא לא לאישה. ויתר יצחק לאדוני לנוכח אשתו, כי יקרה היא. ויתר לו אדוני ותהר רבקה אשתו. ויתרוצצו הבנים בקרבה, ותאמר, אם כן למה זה אנוכי? And these are the generations of Isaac, the son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac. I never used the word begot, so it's the first time for everything. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel the Aramean from Padan Aram, the sister of Lavan the Aramean, as a wife. And Isaac prayed to God on behalf of or in front of his wife because she was barren. And God answered his prayer. And Rebekah gave birth, and there were 2 children inside her womb. And she said, this is really hard, or sort of. And he said, if I'm going to suffer so much, I don't know how long I can go.
Ready? Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata v'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And before we sing the birthday songs, the appropriate ones, I would like to offer the priestly benediction. Yevarchechem Adonai v'yishmerchem.
Can you hear that sound?
May God bless you and keep you safe and healthy. Yair Adonai panav velechem v'yichunkem.
Can you hear it soon?
May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav velechem v'yasim lachem shalom.
Can you hear it soon?
May you always know that God is with you, and may God continue to bless you with shalom, with wholeness and peace, as we all say, Amen.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. To me?
To me and you.
And with the Torah still before us, we think of our loved ones who are ill and in need of healing as we're going to recite the Misheberach. If anyone here would like to mention the name of a loved one who is ill and in need of healing, do we have more names?
Leno, Johan Mastonen, Sheila Rothstein, Jan Katz, Candy Seeger, Sandy Grossman Dworkin, Sam Fleming, Donna Lewis and family, Lee Sims, Buzz Bearden, Carolyn Spector, Lauren Kuberstein Kordak, Harold Goodman, Sheila Levins, Shira Sickles, Lonice Alson, Dorothy Haber, and Arlene Gannon. We join together as we pray for their healing with the words Misheberach. Please join us.
Misheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Misheberach Imotenu.
Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
If you're able, please rise as the Torah is returned to the ark.
Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tocheha ne'ushar terachim
Those of you who are observing a yahrzeit or lost a loved one in the past 30 days or a week, please remain standing. As we remember today on the occasion of yahrzeit, Louis Sirke's grandfather of Myrna, Zola Karp, father of Steve, Barry Garson, father of Jamie, Ronald Koppel, father of Ryan, Abbott Dressler, husband of Phyllis, Nathaniel Drower, father-in-law of Vera and grandfather of Nat, Thelma Miriam Plosky, mother of Lori, Betty Goldberg, mother-in-law of Sandy, Ethel Goldberg, mother of Sandy, Max Goldman, father of Barbara, Sandra Halpern, wife of Cy, Milton Polo, father of Gail and grandfather of Valerie, Harry Barron, grandfather of Philan, Isadore Golden, grandfather of Stacy, Joseph Schwartz, father of Diane and grandfather of Brian, Paul Begler, uncle of Natalie and Mike, Abraham Lawrence, grandfather of Yael, Philip Levy, father of Charlie, Rose Silverman, mother of Tamar, Zoltan Smoke, grandfather of Susan, Paul Schwab, father of Benji, Charles Siegel, brother-in-law of Natalie, Lily Calafer, grandmother of Carol, Ethel Davidson Stanfield, mother of Jeffrey, Richard Strassler, son of Roberta and Alan, Louis Wender, father of Herb. During the month of mourning, remember David Slotkin, son of Marvin, Jim Fruth, father of Roseanne, Troy Wayne Hines Fred of Phyllis and Herb. Taken from their families in the past week, remember Ron Demana, beloved of Joetta. Label Avraham Lawrence, Adam Ducat, father of Erica, and Florence Siegel, mother of Mark. Let's recite the prayer of Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Asher and Madison, are you ready to lead us in the Kiddush as well? Yeah, why not?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'zratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, Ve'avra uvratzon hin hilanu, zikaron lemase bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh, zeher letziyat Chaim. Kivanu v'harata, v'vatanu kidashta, mikol ha'anim. V'shabbat kodshecha, ve'avra uvratzon, inhalanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Thank you.
L'chaim, thank you. Very nice Kiddush cup. No, this way we can see what people have in their homes. So we did the candles, we did the wine. All we need is Chag. All we need is Chag.
Hamotzi lachem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen. Tevon.
You get to explain.
I get to explain. We are concluding our service with Adon Olam. I hope that you'll join us in and repeat after me. Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
V'tarem Kol,
V'terem Kol,
Yatzir Nivra,
Yatzir Nivra,
V'yein Nasav,
V'et Nasav,
V'chafto Kol. Together, Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'achorei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hoveh, Ve'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Ve'hu Echad Ein Sheni, Lahachshilo Lahachbira Adon Olam, Ve'li Reshi, Ve'li Tachlit, Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'al Mizrah Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
V'tarem Kol,
V'terem Kol,
Yatzir Nivra, V'yein Nasav,
V'et Nasav,
V'chafto Kol, Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam,
והוא אלי והגולי וצורכב לי וצרה אדון עולם והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנקוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם
בידו
הפקיר רוחי ותשאל מהעירה אדון עולם ואם רוחי גבייתי אדון אלי ולא ירא אדון עולם אדון עולם
אדון עולם,
אשר מלך
אשר מלך,
וטרם כל
וטרם כל,
יתיר נברא להתנסה וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון.
Shabbat Shalom. You know that Thursday's Thanksgiving, which means that Wednesday before at 7 p.m. we're having our interfaith service, unfortunately, virtually. But we will have it, and it will be fun, it will be good, and it will be a wonderful way to start Thanksgiving of 2020.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.